always was. Sing me a song that I'll always hear. Tell me a story that I can read.
We're called Hacienda. We come from San Antonio, Texas.
It's Rob Mitchell for Tunes and T.O., and I'm here at Canadian Music Fest, and a couple of members of Hacienda just played tonight with a sold-out crowd, and everybody was moving. Welcome back to Toronto.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's good
thanks
to
for
be
having
here.
us. Yeah.
So a lot has been written that you guys are a South Texas band, more specifically from San Antonio. I was wondering what does it mean to be from South Texas for you guys?
Man, being from South Texas kind of affects just everything that you do. It's kind of like a way of living. It's a little bit more slow-paced. It's more of a grooving town. It's not like high energy like LA or New York or something. So that really like affects just the way you play and the way you kind of write music and the way you perceive the world, which is a big part of what music is filtering the perception of the world and making it into sound. So this definitely shapes our music. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's just good weather and like good food. That's about it. Yeah, great food, man. Some sunshine.
I was wondering, because you drive around even Toronto, you see Texas restaurants and that, and like Texas seems to capture people's imaginations.
Maybe a lot to do with like movies and books. I guess the big thing is that we don't all ride horses everywhere we go, but there are an abundance of cowboy hats and boots, so that is true, and handguns.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know. Texas itself has like a lot of identity by itself. Just the shape of the state, you know, is very identifiable, and clothes, music, food,
History.
Yeah,
Everybody knows the Alamo, and
it's kind of like, I don't know. It's got a lot to identify with. So maybe that's it.
Album, Big Red and Barbacoa. I was reading that a lot of people don't know what barbacoa is. Could you kind of tell people what that is?
Well, it's a meat. It's a type of meat that we use for breakfast food, and it's a taco basically, and it comes from the head of the cow. So that's basically what it is. You barbecue the head of the cow, and you mix it all together, and it becomes a delicious fatty breakfast meal.
Yeah, it's like shredded beef, and you put it in a taco. Basically, that's it. But that with a Big Red, which is a soda, that's kind of a popular thing from San Antonio. So
it's a breakfast dish in San Antonio, Big Red and Barbacoa. Yeah.
First album to this album, how do you feel that you guys have grown in the studio and as musicians?
We've grown a lot. Between those two albums, we had done a lot of touring, and that really sort of changed the dynamic of the band. The first album, Loud as the Night, was written sort of in a studio setting where we were just kind of writing the songs, and Loud as the Night, or in Big Red and Barbacoa, was written as sort of like a live band more. Yeah, so that was sort of a big change. And then this new album that we have coming out in June is called Shakedown. That one is kind of even like maybe a meshing of the two, where it's a little bit of studio writing and a lot of stage experience, yeah.
Yeah, I think after years of just doing the U.S. and Canada circuit a lot, you know, that just changes the whole thing, you know? You go into the studio and you approach it more together. I don't know, after being on the road with so many people for so long, like just us four, you're crammed in a van and you're on stage, you just start communicating a lot more, and it comes out in the album. Yeah, it comes out in the music. It's nice.
You guys are already like family. You are family, so then you become, I guess, even a tighter knit family.
Yeah, exactly. that has a lot to do with the music and the writing process. And things go very quickly when we work with Dan in the studio. So that's how we go.
Yeah, when you start working together so long, you start communicating musically, and the more you've sort of interacted on stage, the more vocabulary you build, and so everything just kind of becomes quicker and a little bit easier, and you read each other, and you don't even have to talk about it. You know what someone else is going to do before they do it, and you're kind of really playing together instead of just trying to play together.
How much are you guys working hard in the recording process to capture that live sound, and how difficult is it to capture that live sound?
Well, a lot of the records we do, they're all the four of us playing live in a room, so it is very heavy live based. Like, that's kind of like a big thing, is trying to get the sound of the band together, and that's kind of been, I don't know, it would probably be harder if it wasn't for Dan's studio, and his sort of like engineering makes it really easy to capture that and make it sound really good. So we just kind of show up and play, and yeah, it sounds really good, I think.
It's probably maybe Dan's studio a little less pressure than being somewhere else, maybe, and time, and we got to get this done, or is it maybe the same?
It's probably a little bit more pressure. He was a pretty quick working guy. Yeah, we probably did all 3 albums, and like each one was like a week at most to put them together. And he's like, let's on to the next one always. And but it is a relaxing environment in that it's easy to talk with him and to talk with each other. We don't feel like we need to hold anything back, so it makes it easy to work in that
sense. Yeah, Dan's been awesome, man. I don't know, he's been kind of an extra member of the family, So at this point, once we did this 3rd album, it was just, really natural. That's just kind of how we work now. It's just all 4 of us live in a room, or 4 of us with Dan, and it's just we just go in there and do our thing.
So I was thinking, when you're writing songs and that, I'm sure that a lot of songs probably get tossed out. Is like, what's the writing process like for when you sit down to record an album?
Well, like particularly this last album, I think we had something like 30 songs to choose from, and we brought them all. You bring your ideas to the band, and everything gets filtered through the players and through Dan, and that gets whittled down and changed, and the things that you started with become something completely different. And since we work so quickly in that span of a week, they all kind of feel together, and I think that's how you get a really good album sound. But yeah, things get whittled down pretty quickly, and
it was weird. We did a lot of demos at the house or in San Antonio, and then once we took them up to Dan's place, we do totally new arrangements on the spot, and sometimes just like jamming out like different ways to do the song, and then just figure out which way it felt best, and then just laid it down. And once we got a good take, just on to the next one. It was really quick, but that's what made it all feel very cohesive, and it's very much just that was us at that time, and here we are now.
let you guys go, but as I was mentioning earlier, my girlfriend was born in San Antonio, and we're always making chili. And she's got another friend from Texas, so we're always talking about chili. So since I got you two guys from Texas, how do you guys make Texas chili?
Well, for me, it's got to have beans. Like, see, that's a huge thing. That's a hot topic, you know, with a lot of people. Some people say chili can't have beans, but for me, Texas chili has to have some beans. It has to have a good kick, you know, and a lot of spice, and some good beef, you know. Those are the key ingredients. I don't know.
I need fire. It's got to be hot. If you ain't sweating it, it's not chili. Yeah.
Just nice and chunky, you know. Nothing too saucy. It's got to be some hearty meat to it, you know.
Yeah, when I call Sarah tonight, she'll be like, "Yep, those boys know what they're talking about." Right? Awesome. It was a pleasure meeting you guys.
Thanks, man.
All the best.
Appreciate it.